Hi everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Phil Taylor Jones Show. Today we're going to be focusing on something that yet again is in the news. In fact, it really has never not been in the news for the past couple of years, and that's white police officers shooting and killing black youth in the streets of this country. Before I go on with today's topic, I'd like to say and express many thanks to the wonderful officers that are out there, putting foot to pavement every day to keep us safe. To you guys, good on you, and keep up the good work. We do appreciate it. I know a lot of things are said about police officers and what have you in total, and that's wrong because there are a lot of wonderful officers out there who really are in it to, as they say, protect and serve. And once again, much kudos to you guys, and we thank you very much for that. But on the flip side, and we know that there is a flip side to every story, there are some people who put on the uniform, pin the badge, snap on the gun, and they don't do it for the intended purpose of protecting and serving. They go out there with their own agendas, and they create mayhem and wreak havoc upon communities for their own goal, whatever that may be. Apparently it's a hateful one, because they go and they'll blow away some black person that's unarmed for whatever reason, whether it really be a lawful reason or an unlawful one. But there's been far too much of that going on here of late, from way before Trayvon Martin, but here of late from Trayvon Martin on up to where we are now. It's happened in 3 cities within the past week. One of them, my own home city of Los Angeles, a fellow who went by the street name of Africa, a homeless person, was gunned down after a police scuffle. They were saying that the homeless fellow Africa went for the police officer's gun, what have you. But there are other people that were eyewitnesses, and there were even business security cameras that picked it up. This just didn't have to happen. Then there was another case back east. The name of the city escaped me right now, but there was this disturbance in an apartment building. This young man, I believe he was 19 years old, black fella, young teenager, was acting somewhat irrationally. No weapons were involved, but he was blown away nevertheless, lost his life. And there's been so much of that going on here of late that it's made a lot of people frustrated all over the country. And so comes the phrase, Black Lives Matter. Well, as a black person, I'll say this. I can understand where that came from, but I will also say that I'm totally opposed to that saying. Why? Because in my humble opinion, all lives matter. Whether it's a black life, white life, whatever, it matters, because that person is important to somebody. They may be important to a lot of somebodies, but we can definitely say undeniably that that person that gets killed is important to someone. So on that vein, all lives matter, because no matter who loses it, what color, what nationality, what sexual preference, whatever, that life matters to someone. So I can understand out of the frustration of the black community seeing black kids being gunned down for whatever reason, whether or not they were actually acting against policy, or whether they were acting towards the good and were mistaken, whatever, they're gunned down and killed. Number one, do you have to kill? Can't you maim? Can't you knock that person down with a rubber bullet or a beanbag or something? Do you just have to go for the kill? And out of that frustration, I can understand the Black Lives Matter deal. But we can't, or at least shouldn't, succumb to just raw feeling. We need to think, that all lives matter. And in that vein, there has to be something done. There's just too much of this killing. As I said before in one of my shows, why is it that these police officers, these rogue cops, got to go for the kill all the time? Just kill. There's got to be other ways. I mean, out of all of this training that they receive, out of all of this methodology, not just foot training or exercise or target practice, what have you, police officers and law enforcement officials, they go through a lot of methodology, a lot of book learning, a lot of psychology. The higher up the rung you go, naturally, the more of it you receive. But I'm talking about the average street cop. They have to complete course and study work before they strap on that badge or graduate from the academy. Well, what happens to all of that when you're in a confrontation? Just goes out the window? You just want to pull out your gun and blow the person away? There's got to be a better way of policing than that. I mean, Marvin Gaye came up with the song Inner City Blues, got to be well over 25 years ago, 30 years ago. And it still rings true today. Trigger happy policing. They're just trigger happy. They shoot anything that jumped up in front of them, including a dog. There's got to be a better way than just pulling out your gun and blowing somebody away, therefore coining phrases like Black Lives Matter. Because, okay, obviously, and if somebody is out there that won't contradict me, please do so, because I don't profess to know everything. But here of late, what everybody's been seeing through the media, through telly, through magazines, through radio, whatever, it has been more white cop on black criminals or teens being shot than it is black cops shooting white teens. So on that score, they coin phrases like Black Lives Matter. So there needs to be some kind of something that turns something around here. There's gotta be. But as far as I'm concerned, all lives matter. And it sort of makes me cringe when they say that Black Lives Matter, because as I said before, I understand where it's coming from, but it just doesn't sound right. It makes it sound like, well, no other lives really matter except the black ones, when we know that is not the truth. It's not the norm. All lives matter, especially when they're being killed needlessly. Okay, yeah, you committed a crime. I'm not saying to treat the person with kid gloves and bring out balloons and happy cake. No, put the bastard away in jail. You don't have to just pull out the gun, kill the person. They're not really trying to harm you or kill you, but there's been cases where they blew them away, just pow. Yeah, we know that there are white criminals out there. We know that there are Asian criminals. We know that there are Hispanic criminals. We know that there's all kind of criminals that could possibly be here in the United States. We know they commit crimes. But yet it's the black youths that are filling the graveyards here of late. And it's not right on the police end of it, that these chiefs and these commissioners and things, they need to get together and they need to find a better way to police. And we certainly, when we pick up our picket signs and what have you, we need to alter our language, so that it states that all lives matter. Because some of these marches, some of these coalitions I've seen, there are people of all ethnicities out there. So let's pick up those signs and say all lives matter, because at some point they may turn to other ethnicities and start blowing them away. I don't know if and when it'll happen, but all lives do matter. And I just wanted to say that. And if there are any police commissioners out there, get a hold of this video, what have you, please get together with whoever you have to get together with and try to stop this thing. I mean, body cameras, you want to put on body cameras and all of this, but you're still going around blowing people away. It's disgusting. It's terrible. And to those families of those members who have been blown away by these rogue, uncaring cops, again, not all cops, but certainly these that are doing it, my heart goes out to them. Okay, the family member may have committed a crime. They may not have committed a crime. Just by the mere fact that they have a black face makes them a target. I'm not afraid or ashamed in saying I don't trust them. I don't trust cops as far as I can throw an A380. And any of you who are aeronautically inclined, that's the world's largest airliner. I wouldn't trust police officers as far as I could throw an airplane, a real one. Do I hate them all? No, because I know that there's some good ones out there, but it's a crapshoot that if one of them pulls you over and you happen to have a black face, it's a 50-50 chance that you'll come out of it alive. And dealing with those statistics as a black person in America, yeah, I get a little nervous when I see one. Although I don't break the law. I've never been in jail in my life. I have never broken the law or done anything wrong so that when I hear a siren, I gotta do it. If I hear a siren, hey, it's just a police officer going down the street. But by the same token, I don't trust them because I know what some of them are capable of. And that sort of, sends up red flags to say, well, there is a police officer over there. Is he one of the good ones, or is he one of those who's going to blow my head off because I happen to be black? And you shouldn't have to live like that. So there needs to be some kind of something to equalize the field a little bit. And if you also look at what's been going on, I almost forgot that part. When these rogue officers go and kill these black kids, they do it with ease because they know they're going to get off. Okay, the guy down there in Ferguson, Darren Wilson, I think his name, got off. This pitiful mess that killed Trayvon Martin got off. And then 2 weeks later, he was in trouble again with a firearm. So if you know that you can kill somebody and get away with it, then where's the incentive not to kill them? So there needs to be some major revamping of the legal and law enforcement system here in this country to stop this garbage. Racism, okay, talking about the 50 years of the Selma March and Martin Luther King and all that kind of stuff. We're not that much better off than we were when Martin King was walking the earth. There's still blatant racism, and it's come to the point where black folks are losing their lives. So no, he may have had the dream, but in many ways today is a nightmare. And for anyone to sit up there and say, oh, well, yeah, this dream came true, and look at what we got in the White House. Yeah, we have a travesty in the White House. We've got a good-for-nothing piece of crap that appears to be black, but in reality is the shame of most of the black folks that I know. Say Martin King had a dream, but we got the nightmare. So, I just wanted to bring in on this thing to say that, once again, I know where that frustration is coming from, and I know what's pushing the pen to the paper to say that Black Lives Matter, but in reality, all lives matter. And you got to keep that in mind and try to hold on to a good thought that hopefully someday this will become something we can look back on and say, well, I remember when, but thank goodness now at this point, things are different. Thank you so much for joining us again for this edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We appreciate your every good wish, and you're circling us on Google+, and we will continue to try to bring you honest and commonsensical type spins on what's going on in this crazy mixed up world of ours. So stay happy and be safe. We'll see you next time on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Take care. Bye-bye.